So up next is Christopher Citro and Dustin Nightingale. Christopher Citro and Dustin Nightingale have been writing collaboratively on and off since 2013. Their collaborative poems have appeared in numerous venues, including Denver Quarterly, the Chattahoochee Review, Verse Daily, Zone 3, Diagram, Hotel America, Southern Indiana Review, and They Said, a multi-genre anthology of contemporary collaborative writing that's by Black Lawrence Press. Their unpublished manuscript of collaborative prose poems, I Am the Owner of a Small Punctured Tire, has been a finalist at Slope Editions and Conduit Magazine's Minds on Fire Open Book Prize, and it has received encouragement at contests or open readings at Black Lawrence Press, Brooklyn Arts Press, The Cupboard, Octopus Books, Pank Books, Sundress Publications, and Tinderbox. So please welcome Christopher and Dustin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for that introduction, Jeff. Thanks, Meg, for inviting me and Dustin to take part in this event with everybody. It's a delight to share the reading and discussion with you and Jeff and Amy and Carol. And thanks for everybody who's here out in Zoom land. It's so wonderful to see faces and names and friends. Dustin and I would like to read you some of our poems. We wrote each of these collaborative prose poems extremely collaboratively. A few words back and forth all the way. So they're very collaboratively written. We're going to read them. We're going to read them one at a time. We're going to take turns and alternate. And then after we're done reading our poems, we'll share a short statement about our collaborative process. So Dustin, can you please go first?
Yeah, you got it. Anywhere is the center of the universe. If you want me to, I mean really want me to, I will watch the meteor shower with you on the roof while we drink wine. Will I help make up names for the ones that fall between sips? Yeah, probably. As long as they don't all start sounding like your ex-boyfriends or worse, like me, like you love it when I say, that one is called My Silly Heart for You, or this wine is almost empty, what are we going to do now? We could spend unending lifetimes and never see that flash of light again. It makes me terribly sad and blessed to think about. I'm not sure about you, but I understand they don't even know I'm down here, and that makes me feel pulled by invisible strings towards the dark. I mean, how wonderful if nobody ever found us until we were ready to be found. That one is called Vice Versa. And that one, I'll just shut up and watch. 10,000 lights waiting until one precise moment to drop. You turn to me with wine lips and smile. And then you say something much more interesting than anything I've said.
And this is called Brush Aside the Noise with Locks of Matted Hair. On this planet of people who nip at me, I managed to find you, and now you're gone. I don't remember what day it is, but the rain keeps draining in from the sea and spits on the cliffs. I'm tired as the rain that falls in the sea. There is a field of dachshunds running towards the dirty sock of the sun setting. Blood cells falling over themselves to make it to the ends of my veins where it thins out and tries to swim back. They try so hard it's pretty, and sometimes they make it. Did I say they? I meant we. I meant I want to hire you to take photos of shadows on the walls. I want to name them all Sick Horse. I want to care for them, hold water in my cupped hands for them, pick windfall apples from the wet grass to lift to those enormous teeth. I hear a window open in a room below. I hope it's you breaking in with a brick.
35 parts per thousand. There's an ocean of light moving through everything all the time, and it makes me sad that I can't see it. Please, go back outside and pick another handful of wild blackberries. Carry them in the hammock of your shirt. Stand at the sliding glass doors, looking up at me and smiling. Believe it so much that it hurts your teeth. There are melted glaciers in your eyes and in my eyes too. A gray bird circling as a clock chimes. And when the world rattles its tin cup against the rib of the last whale, make sure you are listening. Sometimes when it doesn't seem I'm paying attention, I actually am. I'm remembering my mother's doll with her own tiny rocking chair, pulled back, her little eyes closed, pushed forward, they opened wide again. Try not to blink, or your life will sink instead of float to shore. I wish that memory were yours, not mine.
And this next poem starts with an epigraph from Erica Meitner from her poem Ghost Box. And the epigraph reads, "In one account, we heard gunshots, but didn't drive off. In another, we met a coyote and a red fox when the sun came up. There was ample parking." And the title of this poem is What Ample Feels Like. I'm pushing trees into my eyes, and now there's a forest in my head. As I walk, the acorns rattle against the river stones. Fiddlehead ferns are carcinogenic and delicious. When the brain eats brain like a bottled biosphere, I've never been so close to heaven. Though who knows if that is true? All the ghosts nod their heads like November sunflowers when you run through them. There will come a time you will think the word deer the instant before you see one stepping through the parking lot. A bell rings. Ticks rise on stalks and wave their fangs in your window. At the next support group, we will discuss the casualties by talking about them like they were here. Ding, ding, ding. Everything is still delicious. Everything is falling out of my helmet now. I must be ripe. The answer is always yes, yes, yes. The question is the light through my upper branches. Have you decided yet how best to photograph the light through my upper branches?
Down to the wire. I'm sorry, I can't hear you with all the appliances on sale. It's the sound of convenience drowning you out, the racket of a dream about to come true. We are walking somewhere and know there is at least 3 more miles to go. Let's make a game of it, I say, refusing to get up, having already started the game. Great, who's winning, you say, dropping beside me in the light from the TVs in the shop window. Whoever is rolling the dice, I say. Show me, you say. Show you what? Just then a game show flickers on and it's you and me in front of door number 2. Your face tilted up, watching the pink lights and balloons, forgetting me and where we're going, and beautiful is all anyone on this earth can think for a second. I win.
And there's a short one called Itty Bitty City. She opened her mouth and a white light came toward us from a long way off. The sound of seabirds or death, or was it only air conditioning? Perfectly shaped raindrops landing inside our headbands. Perhaps they weren't raindrops. We look up and a giant squid covers the stars.
The weight of everything. There are so many ghosts, they are pissing on each other's strangled energy. The wind in the weeds out back whistles as it moves from stalk to stalk. I'm trying to keep one small part of my mind alive before the earth gets burned and churned for something new. Do you have the time? Of course you do. It's always almost midnight. Look into the distance to see if I'm there yet. I smell charcoal, and I'm afraid it's me. A pile of smoking earth and carefully stacked mud slabs. We will build a little room with those bricks, and inside it, we will teach each other things, important things. like how to start a fire using only your fingers.
And this is called The Scraping of So Much All Our Breaths. Sometimes we move around and we stand on the street corner with bandaged hands in our pockets. When we see someone we love, we smile instead of wave. And those hands, a newborn chickadee, peppery milk caps, vintage shaving kits, and crumbling plaster, these filaments fit easily inside a rib cage. Red lights reach down at us. Soon we'll be surrounded by free and constant Wi-Fi. The air a soup of I love you, where are you, don't leave me. I'll be standing here exactly where I was. I want to breathe like any other human, but to do that, I need it in writing how to break your heart. The cure for right now is I know I'm not the only one who feels like this. I can't be.
I fear we have made a terrible mistake. I'm sorry. Despite the beauty of the first tulip under my flashlight, all I can see is this darkness pressing in on us. You're upstairs, asleep in bed, but I know you're feeling it too. The satellite's passing over us and I'm sending it wishes it makes it across the sky without falling in love with what it records. The words of a radio DJ floating above a lake, let them go. Uppermost leaves of a beech tree. Allow that to sway away. You roll over, crushing a breast slightly beneath you. Rain clouds, owl sounds in your birth town, traveling over the water, through the leaves and in your window. It's silly, really, the way we pretend to hold hands with earth and time. Yet still, my heart is filled with this lonely migration. The distant boiling of a dog bark, the soup of an even further wind chime, our necks still hot with yesterday's sun.
And this is called I Am a Speaker, You Are Vibrating. I'm so strong I can lift an eyelash from your cheek and break it in half with my own 2 arms. I can pick up ash without turning it to powder. Thus my strength is gentle and deadly. The wishes I make on both are, just be happy, duh. May you own a wide field of black and white birds. May they rise into the air when you step toward them. I am going to come up with something else you'll enjoy. A breeze against your neck, commercial-free jams. The couch you are staining with your skin. Someone's always unfurling a red carpet in front of you, and you're always trying not to step on it. It would be so much simpler if we could fly. It's so easy to imagine leaving, then landing on the horizon. The speaker is not blown, but I wouldn't turn it up too much. The tattoo across your chest spells my name if I'm behind you and you're made of glass or something else that's strong and I can see through.
DJ missing. Having exhausted all other options, you walk to the supermarket. Passing lawns along the way, ruminating upon the appendix, our lost ability to just flop into a yard and relieve any hunger. Oh, this is where I get to imagine my own history. But it is difficult to have any history when everyone's story is the same. It is also difficult to listen. Listen. Someone is paid to select the music they pump in above the frozen meats and vegetables. It's not a job many would do for free, but it keeps the ham pink and the vegetable medley puffy. Imagine what the turkey would look like without the sounds of a bossa nova. Consider the loneliness of the Mexican sodas, how they sit silent each evening when the lights wink out. You can picture them waiting. So much in this life requires rescuing now and then. The circle of warmth around a speaker increases as the volume is turned up, taking in eventually, even you.
Here's another short one called Taking One Spoon of Earth. You cannot remember the last time you touched moss on a tree with no one around. When it rains, you sink into the ground. Outside oaks, night. You still reach for a light switch from 2 bathrooms ago. Chill of tile. Photos of animals fleeing wildfires.
Slapping against the sidewalks like meat fish. I like when the geese are swimming and seem not to notice the rest of the world running by. These are the same geese that were alive 1,000 years ago. When I get out of bed, I groan and mutter inside. I need a river again and again. I don't care how much it glows in the dark. I want to survive off the poisoned underwater leaves, just as my friends do. Water gripping the kicking little legs. What's that? A tree you notice at a bus stop 3 minutes before you die? It means so much more now, being a tree that might be the most unhappy tree within 2 feet. What we need most are durable objects, friends that look good going away, and a lifelong relationship with potable water. Those new bags at the foot of the saplings downtown hold in the moisture to keep them alive. The homeless have not yet learned how to pierce and drink from them. Soon they will. We left knives and straws.
And here's the last poem. It's called Setting the Small Fires on a Ship Stuck in Ice. One amber light blinks into the night sky. I am here. I am here. I am on unsteady ground. The room is beginning to sway. I may never be warm again, and if not, that is okay. I don't think I've ever been a snowman, and if I could write an anti-suicide PSA, it would begin, whose woods these are. You didn't see the movie? We were us, but better than us. One experienced spontaneous amputation of the small toes. One was handed an entire yellow cake. The tarantula had been brushed off moments before bringing it into the room. There were plenty of things for it to eat before it went to sleep. For example, I had a memory that I was desperately either trying to remember or forget. I had an answering machine 100 years ago. It told me who my friends were. It hung on the kitchen wall and lived on the warmth of my hand. The attention I smeared across it, standing alone at 2 a.m., waiting for the light to do something, anything. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. So real quick here, we're generally very intuitive poets. We like to be as free as possible with our collaborations, staying open to the unexpected, kind of purposely getting lost, you could say, just to see what happens next. When we look back at our completed poems, it's often impossible to remember who wrote what. I think that's a good sign, usually. We work in groups of 4 at a time, emailing drafts back and forth as each makes additions or deletions. Titles are introduced along the way. Whatever we would do with the poems if they were our own drafts, that's kind of how we treat them. Sometimes things can get pretty drastic. If one of us notices a poem is just coming out dead in the water, he hacks it to pieces and we start fresh with the remains. It can be kind of brutal that way, but you know, our egos aren't that big, so you know, we're okay. After years of doing this, we're still friends, and you know, maybe I would add like better friends, you know, for it. But yeah, I never expected this to be anything. I don't think either of us did. I don't want to speak for you, Christopher, but you know, it's just nice that we've been doing it. Go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. And my little part of our statement is to mention that Jim Harrison and Ted Kuzer's book, Braided Creek, this was an inspiration when we first started working together. This is an awesome book. And sometimes we go back and forth really quickly. Flinging the drafts back and forth as a new set is done in a few weeks. Sometimes it takes months to get a new batch up to the point where we give up, i.e. call the poems done. We never ever have preconceived plans of where our collaborative poems will go. And we make a point of never discussing drafts while they're in process, preferring to let them develop entirely through the writing alone. And we found that one of the reasons that this seems to work for us is that we share an internal, an internal sense of the shape of a poem. I said that wrong. We share a sense of the internal shape of a poem. That's it. When to create tension, when to leap, when to release, when to run on, when to call it a day. And yeah, and in adding to that, things, responding to things, working with Dustin has changed the poems that I wrote, the poems that went into my second book. I already loved his individual poems, but then working together, it's one of the most exciting things to open up my email and see what changes did he make? What did he do? What happened to that? And yeah, it's been a joy. And we were already friends before we started doing it. We started actually in a prose poem class at Indiana University. It was an assignment, right? A collaboration with somebody. And I collaborated with 3 different people, all friends. And I collaborated with Dustin. And with Dustin, it wasn't just that the collaboration was fun. It was that the thing that we came up with, I was like, I think this might actually be a poem, not just a fun process to go through. And then years later, we started doing it again when we lived in different towns, and we've done it by email ever since. And so thanks for being here, Dustin, and thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you guys so much. That was fantastic. Thank you. Incredible work.